So imagine you are spending, I don't know, millions of dollars building the world's most impenetrable vault.
Right, like the ultimate security setup.
Exactly. You install biometric scanners, you get the foot-thick titanium doors, a laser grid.
A whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And you are incredibly proud of this fortress. But then, when the delivery team actually drops it off at your client's facility, you realize someone accidentally taped the master architectural blueprints to the front door.
Oh, no, no.
Not just that, but the manufacturer override codes, the entire wiring schematic, just taped right there on the outside.
That's a nightmare
It
scenario.
is. And on March 31st, 2026, one of the most advanced AI companies on Earth did essentially that.
Yeah, they really did.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at a really fascinating article titled Anthropic Under Scrutiny Following Second Claude Code Leak, which documents this exact incident.
Which is just wild to think about.
Right. So whether you are a developer, an AI enthusiast, or honestly just someone curious about how giant tech companies operate, you're going to want to hear this, because our mission today is to look at how a simple typo-level oversight exposed the internal engineering of Anthropic.
And it really highlights the surprising fragility of modern software releases.
It totally does. Okay, let's unpack this. We are talking about Anthropic's AI-powered coding tool, Claude Code, basically exposing its internal source code to the entire public.
Yeah, and to understand how wild this is, we have to look at how it was discovered. Because this wasn't some, master hacker in a hoodie bypassing firewalls.
No laser grids were actually hacked here.
Exactly. It was discovered by a security researcher named Xiaofan Shou, and he found it just sitting out in the open on the NPM registry.
And for anyone who isn't a developer, NPM is just the public platform for downloading software packages, right? Like, it's where everyone goes to get the building blocks for their apps.
Yeah, it's completely public. Anyone can browse it. And Shou just noticed a single file in the Claude code package named clyde.js.map.
Just one file.
Just one.
Which brings me back to the vault analogy. Wait, if these platforms are built by world-class engineers, how does a highly sensitive blueprint just end up on a public registry?
What's fascinating here is what that .map file actually is. Because, source maps are strictly debugging tools.
Right.
They are never, ever supposed to be in a production release.
Okay, so what exactly does it do?
Well, when developers build a tool like Claude Code, they write thousands of files. They use nice, readable variable names. They leave comments for each other, right?
Right, human-readable stuff.
Yeah, but machines don't need all that. It's too heavy to send over a network. So before they publish to NPM, they run it through a build process that minifies it.
Minifies it, so it just squishes it all down.
Exactly. It strips every space, every comment, and changes all those nice variable names into single letters.
So it looks like total gibberish to a human.
Complete gibberish. But it runs super fast. The problem is if a user gets an error, the error just says something like bug on line 1, column 50,000.
Which is completely useless for the developer trying to fix it.
Right. So the source map, that .map file, is the mathematical decoder ring. It translates that minified gibberish back into the original human-readable source code.
Oh, wow. So if I have the minified code, which is public, and I also have the source map.
You have the entire original code base. And because it was on the NPM registry, it wasn't hidden at all. It was openly accessible to anyone who knew what to look for.
Anyone with an internet connection could just reverse engineer their proprietary code.
Instantly. No decryption needed.
That is just, that leads us right to the blast radius. What exactly was lost here and what was safe?
Well, the exposure was massive in terms of infrastructure. Researchers were able to reconstruct nearly 2,000 proprietary source files.
2,000 files.
Yeah, it laid bare their internal APIs, their telemetry systems, encryption logic, communication protocols, all the plumbing.
But, and I think this is a crucial distinction for the listener, the actual AI wasn't leaked.
Correct. This was not a cyber attack. No user accounts were breached. No personal data was accessed.
So the secret recipe for the AI brain is completely safe, but the entire mechanical infrastructure that connects that brain to the user has been laid bare.
That is a perfect way to put it. The model weights, the actual intelligence of Claude, those live safely on Anthropic's secure cloud.
Okay, so if the brain is safe, why is everyone in the security industry freaking out about the plumbing?
Because seeing that plumbing is highly, highly valuable to competitors and security analysts.
How so? Like, what can a competitor actually do with this?
Well, think about the telemetry systems and the encryption logic. Telemetry is basically how Anthropic monitors what's happening inside the app.
Like tracking errors and performance.
Right. But if you have the source code, you can see exactly what Anthropic is tracking to catch bad actors.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and more importantly, you see what they are not tracking. It gives rivals and attackers a literal playbook on how Anthropic processes commands securely behind the scenes.
So if I'm a bad actor, I now know exactly where your security cameras are pointed, which means I know exactly which hallways are completely unmonitored.
Exactly. You find the blind spots and you exploit them.
That is terrifying. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because according to the source material, this is not the first time this has happened.
Nope.
It's the second time. In early 2025, a previous version of Claude code was exposed in the exact same way.
A leftover source map file.
Literally the exact same file type, which I have to ask, on behalf of anyone listening who builds software, if they caught this and fixed it in 2025, how does a billion-dollar AI company make the exact same packaging error a year later? Does this mean their internal safeguards are just failing?
It's a huge operational failure, yeah.
Yeah.
And the speed at which this happens is the scary part,
Hmm.
because developers immediately archive the files this time around.
Right, because once it hits NPM, there are bots just waiting for it.
Oh, thousands of them. Security researchers, malicious actors, they have automated scrapers that download every single NPM update the second it drops.
So even if Anthropic realized the mistake 5 minutes later and took the package down.
It was already too late. Within seconds, it was cloned, extracted, and pushed to public repositories on GitHub.
Wow.
Yeah, it persists indefinitely. Even after Anthropic removed the original package, the code is out there forever.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Not on the internet, no. And this raises an important question about release management and quality assurance, especially in such a hyper-competitive space like AI right now.
Because they are all rushing. Right. Everyone is trying to ship the next big feature before OpenAI or Google does.
Exactly. The pressure to iterate is immense. And when you are moving that fast, and your deployment pipelines are these massive, complex, automated systems, it's easy for a safeguard to just slip.
Yeah. Like maybe they updated a build tool to make things faster, and the new tool just defaulted to generating source maps, and nobody noticed.
That is a very likely scenario. It's rarely active negligence. It's usually just pipeline drift.
Yeah.
But it shows that the machinery they use to release software is getting so complex that they are losing track of the basics.
Which brings us to the broader industry implications, because Anthropic has basically said nothing about this.
Yeah, they have maintained complete silence regarding the incident.
No blog post, no apology, nothing. And our source material notes that as companies rush to release these really powerful AI tools, software hygiene is becoming a critical issue.
It is the critical issue. Look, in the fast-moving AI industry, innovation is useless if it isn't matched with discipline.
Because trust is built on reliability, not just raw performance.
Exactly. If you are an enterprise client, say a big bank, and you want to use Claude, you aren't just looking at how smart the AI is. You are looking at Anthropic's operational security. And if they leak their own blueprints twice in 1 year due to a basic packaging error, that erodes enterprise and developer trust over time.
Yeah.
Repeated errors like this are a huge red flag for enterprise adoption.
So I want to pose this to the listener. What stands out to you about this? Because for me, it highlights that in this crazy modern tech race, the biggest threats might not actually be shadowy hackers pulling off zero-day exploits.
No, the biggest threats are internal.
Right. It's just simple human rushing. It's poor software hygiene. It's forgetting to check a box in a configuration file.
And relying too heavily on automated pipelines without verifying what they are actually spitting out the other side.
So what does this all mean? We have a simple debugging file, -clyde.js.map, that was accidentally shipped not once, but twice in a single year.
Yep.
And it has given the entire world a front row seat to Anthropic's internal engineering.
The whole playbook.
The whole playbook. And I think it perfectly highlights this massive tension between rapid, breakneck innovation and foundational security. You can't just move fast and break things when you're building enterprise AI infrastructure.
You really can't. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, there is a deep irony here that we have to talk about.
Oh, lay it on me.
So think about what Claude Code actually is.
It's an AI-powered coding tool.
Right. It is literally designed to help developers write software, catch bugs, and debug their code.
Right. It's supposed to be your automated pair programmer.
Exactly. So if an AI coding assistant is meant to catch human errors, why didn't Anthropic's own AI tools catch this glaring packaging error before it shipped?
Oh, wow. That is a really good point.
Are companies becoming so reliant on AI to build and check their products that human engineers are losing the basic meticulous software hygiene required to package them safely?
Like they just assume the AI or the automated pipeline will catch it, so they stop paying close attention to the details.
Exactly. If the tool is supposed to do the checking, who is checking the tool?
That is a wild thought to leave off on. We are building these super intelligent systems, but we are still tripping over the most basic hurdles of getting the software out the door.
It's a reminder that the boring stuff still matters.
The boring stuff absolutely matters. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope this gave you a new perspective on how even the most advanced tech companies operate and sometimes stumble.
Keep an eye on your .map files, everyone.
Seriously, check your pipelines, keep questioning the technology you use every single day, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.